Welcome back. Today, we are putting on our consultant hats and diving deep into the U.S. tax system. We're not just going to look at the rules, we're building a strategic framework around the one number that acts as a master key to unlock potential savings and opportunities. This is what we call the AGI framework. So let me start with a question for you. What do you think is the single most important number on your entire tax return? I mean, if you had to pick just one figure from that whole Form 1040 that causes the biggest ripples everywhere else, what would it be? Your total income, the tax you owe, your refund? Look, those are all important for sure, but they're outcomes. They're the result. The number that really truly matters is an input. It's the one that drives everything else.
And the answer is your adjusted gross income, or AGI. This number right here is the absolute cornerstone of the U.S. tax system. It is the main yardstick the IRS uses to see where you stand financially. And understanding it isn't just about being compliant, it's about being strategic. Because once you learn how to actually influence your AGI, you unlock a whole new level of control over your entire financial world.
So, here's our game plan. First, we'll nail down why AGI is the cornerstone. Then, we're going to deconstruct the formula piece by piece. After that, we'll see its powerful ripple effect in action, clear up how it's different from other key terms, and finally, we'll turn all this theory into a strategy you can actually use.
All right, so let's start with the big picture. Why is this one number so incredibly foundational? Well, first off, the IRS uses it to figure out your income tax. But, and this is the important part, it also acts as a gatekeeper. Your AGI level is what determines if you're even eligible for a massive range of tax breaks. We're talking everything from deductions that lower your bill to credits that literally put cash right back in your pocket.
This quote really frames it perfectly. AGI isn't just a calculation, it's a qualifier. Think of it this way. The lower you can get your AGI, the more doors to tax savings just swing right open for you. Your AGI decides which game you get to play and which set of rules you play by. And that's exactly why managing your AGI is the first and honestly the most effective step in managing your total tax bill.
Okay, so if AGI is that important, we need to know exactly how it's built. We're going to break it down using a classic consulting framework called MEIS. It's a fancy acronym that just means we'll cover all the pieces of the puzzle without any overlap. So let's get into the core calculation.
Everything starts with your gross income. This is the very top of the funnel. It's the grand total of all your income from every single source before anything gets taken out. We're talking your salary, any freelance gigs, profits from selling stocks, dividends you've received, literally every dollar that the IRS considers income. It's the biggest number we're going to be working with.
Now, this is where the strategy really kicks in. From that big gross income number, we get to subtract a very special category of expenses called adjustments. You'll often hear these called above-the-line deductions because you take them before you even get to that AGI line on your tax form. And here's why they're so powerful. You don't have to itemize your deductions to claim them, and they directly lower your AGI, which, as we'll see, creates these massive downstream benefits.
So, the formula itself, it's deceptively simple. Step 1, add up all your gross income. Step 2, subtract those key above-the-line adjustments. And bam! Step 3, you've got your adjusted gross income. The path is straightforward, but trust me, all the strategic power is hiding in understanding and maximizing Step 2.
So what are these super powerful adjustments? What are the key drivers that actually give us control over our AGI? This is where we need to drill down and get into the nitty-gritty. Think of these adjustments as the financial levers you can pull all year long to strategically shape your tax outcome.
Here on the screen are some of the most common and, frankly, most impactful adjustments. You'll find these on Schedule 1 of your tax return. For example, the interest you pay on student loans. That's an adjustment. Contributing to a health savings account, an HSA? Oh, that's a huge one. It's a triple tax advantage powerhouse that directly lowers your AGI. Same goes for putting money into a traditional IRA. And for all the self-employed folks out there, deducting half your self-employment tax and your health insurance premiums are absolutely critical adjustments. Every single one of these is a tool in your financial toolkit.
Okay, so now we know how AGI is calculated, but let's talk about its real power, the ripple effect. The value of lowering your AGI isn't just about that initial reduction. It's about how that one single number then goes on to impact dozens of other calculations all the way down your tax return. This is why we call it the master key.
So to make this crystal clear, let's walk through a mini case study, the medical expense deduction. Now this is a common below-the-line or itemized deduction.
Here's the rule. You can only deduct the amount of your medical expenses that is more than 7.5% of your AGI. So your AGI literally sets the hurdle, the bar you have to clear before you can deduct a single dollar.
This slide shows you exactly how this plays out. Let's look at scenario A and scenario B. In both cases, the person has the exact same $12,000 in medical expenses, but in scenario A, with an AGI of $100,000, their hurdle, that's 7.5%, is $7,500, so they can only deduct $4,500. Now, look at scenario B. This person was smart. They lowered their AGI to $50,000, maybe with some big IRA and HSA contributions. Their hurdle drops to just $3,750, and now they get to deduct $8,250. It's the same expenses, but a different AGI means a wildly different tax deduction. That's an extra $3,750 in deductions, just from having a lower AGI. This is the ripple effect in action. And this same principle applies to so many other things. For example, your ability to get the full deduction for student loan interest starts to phase out at certain AGI levels. Same thing for qualifying for credits like the Lifetime Learning Credit or the Retirement Savings Contributions Credit. A lower AGI doesn't just save you a little, it can amplify your savings across your entire return.
This brings us to something that trips a lot of people up, all the acronyms. You've got AGI, MAGI, taxable income. It's like an alphabet soup, right? So let's build another clean, simple framework to define each one and show how they all fit together in a logical order. Let's just walk right through this hierarchy. At the very top, you have gross income. You subtract those above-the-line adjustments, and you get your AGI, our master key for eligibility. Now, for some very specific things, like figuring out if you can contribute to a Roth IRA, the government uses something called modified AGI, or MAGI. To get your MAGI, you actually start with your AGI, and then you add back certain deductions you already took, like student loan interest. It's just a slightly different yardstick for a different job. And finally, from your AGI, you subtract your standard or itemized deductions to get your taxable income. That's the bottom line number your actual tax is calculated on.
And hey, here's a little pro tip for you. If you ever need to find this number, it's sitting right there on line 11 of your Form 1040. It's a good idea to keep a copy of last year's tax return handy, because you'll often need that AGI figure to verify your identity when you e-file your taxes.
Okay, so we've defined the cornerstone, we've deconstructed the formula, we've seen the ripple effect, and we've built the framework. Now it's time for the most important part, turning all this knowledge into an actual strategy. How do you put your AGI to work for you?
The absolute most crucial takeaway is this. Your AGI isn't just something that happens to you at the end of the year. It is a number you can actively influence. The strategy is to zero in on those above-the-line adjustments. Max out your contributions to tax-deductible accounts, like HSAs and traditional IRAs. Those are your most powerful levers. Remember, every single dollar you lower your AGI by can have a compounding effect, unlocking other deductions and credits down the line. And don't forget, this affects your state taxes too, since a lot of states use your federal AGI as their starting point.
And this is really the bottom line. This isn't about finding weird loopholes or gaming the system. It's simply about understanding the system as it was designed. The tax code gives us these adjustments as incentives. They want to encourage us to save for retirement, for healthcare, for education. Using them properly isn't just smart, it's absolutely essential for an optimized financial strategy. So I'm going to leave you with one final, actionable question. Now that you have the AGI framework, what is one above-the-line adjustment that you can focus on this year? Is it funding an IRA? Is it maxing out that HSA? Pick one. Because taking control of that one number is the key to taking control of your entire tax destiny.